I figured out how to take notes so good they feel like cheating. You know that feeling when you spend hours in class writing down every single word, only to look at your notes later and think, what the hell is this mess? Yeah, it's like you wasted all that time for nothing, like an idiot. All because your brain was on autopilot, and now you've got a notebook full of pointless scribbles. But the problem isn't you. It's the stupid and ineffective way you're taking notes. In this video, I'll reveal 7 note-taking methods that will blow your mind and feel like cheating. So let's get started. 7. Charting method. Instead of writing disorganized notes, you make a simple table with columns for topics, definitions, and examples. It's perfect for comparing concepts, historical events, scientific processes, or mathematical formulas. You get all the important info at a glance, which means no more flipping through a disaster of notes when it's time to study. For example, under topic, you write photosynthesis, then in the definition column, you put process by which plants convert sunlight into energy. And in the example column, write how trees produce oxygen. Easy, right? Another example. If you're learning about historical events, like the Industrial Revolution, your chart could include topic, Industrial Revolution, definition, period of major industrialization from the late 1700s to the early 1800s, and example, the rise of factories in Britain. You see where I'm going with this, you brainless idiot? You're not just writing things down, you're organizing them in a way that your lazy brain can actually understand. 6. Cornell method. This method is so simple, even an idiot can get it right. You divide the page into 3 sections. The Q column on the left, where you write down questions or keywords. The note-taking column on the right, where you jot down the important stuff during class. And the summary box at the bottom, where you sum up the entire class after it's over. And here's the magic, you brainless fool. When you need to review for exams, everything you need is already laid out perfectly. You don't have to dig through messy, disorganized notes trying to remember what the heck the professor was talking about. You can just glance at the Q column to trigger your memory, read through the note-taking column for details, and boom, your summary box wraps it all up. It's like having a cheat sheet, except it's not cheating because you actually did the work for once. 5. Outline method. Yeah, the outline method is here to save your sorry ass. Instead of writing down every pointless detail, you use bullet points to create a clear, hierarchical structure of information. It's like making a grocery list, but instead of milk and eggs, you've got French Revolution, 1780, causes, economic crisis, social inequality, enlightenment. See, short, sweet, and to the point. Maybe now you'll actually remember something for once. Here's the deal. The outline method works because it organizes information from general to specific, creating a hierarchy that your brain can actually process. You start with the main topic, break it down into subtopics, and then add key details under each subtopic. And listen, you idiot, if you really want to make this work, leave some space between your main topics. Why? Because when your brain finally decides to wake up and catch something important, you'll have room to jot it down without turning your notes into an unreadable mess. 4. Mind mapping. Instead of writing boring, endless paragraphs, you take a blank page and draw a big, bold circle in the middle. In that circle, you write the main theme of whatever subject you're studying, let's say the French Revolution. Then you start drawing branches out of that circle, each leading to a key topic like causes, key figures, major events, and consequences. Each of these topics can have their own little branches filled with relevant details. And guess what? It works wonders for subjects that have tons of connections like history, biology, or anything else that currently makes your dumb head spin. And here's a pro tip. Use one color for main topics, another for details, and maybe even toss in some doodles, if that helps. The different colors act like mental sticky notes, making it easier to remember stuff when you're cramming for exams. 3. Flow method. All right, listen up, genius. The flow method might look like a mind map at first glance, but don't get it twisted. This isn't just scribbling random bubbles on a page. Instead, you're drawing a straight-up sequence of events, like a visual story that even your half-asleep brain can follow. Here's how it works. When the teacher opens their mouth, jot down the main ideas and then draw arrows to show how they connect. Think of it as sketching out a domino effect, not just linking random thoughts like in a mind map, but actually showing a progression. If it's history, don't waste time on a boring timeline, you idiot. Draw the damn events. Use cause and effect arrows. Add a mini explosion if something went down. In subjects like biology or physics, sketch the steps of a process with symbols or quick drawings. The whole point is to make your notes so engaging that when you look back, you don't feel like you're reading a sleep-inducing instruction manual. 2. Interactive notebook method. This method isn't rocket science, but judging by your crappy grades, maybe it might as well be you idiot. Here's how it works. You open your notebook, and on the right page, you write your class notes, the important stuff the teacher says, definitions, main ideas, whatever. And then comes the magic, which you'd probably never think of on your own. The left page is where you put your own thoughts, your reflections, questions, and maybe even a personal example, if you can manage to think that hard. This method is perfect for subjects that require some brain power, like literature, where you can't just memorize facts, but actually have to interpret things. When your teacher talks about some deep metaphor in a novel, you write that on the left side, and on the right, you scribble your doubts, like, what the hell does this even mean? Or maybe relate it to something from real life, like, this character acts like my annoying cousin. It keeps your notes organized and gives your lazy brain a chance to engage with the material instead of just regurgitating it. 1. Question and answer method. Instead of mindlessly copying notes, you write questions during class. Yeah, you heard me. Questions, not that brain-dead transcription you usually do. When the teacher says the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, you don't just write that down like a parrot. Instead, you write a question like, what is the function of the mitochondria? Then, when you get home, you actually answer those questions. It's like setting up a study session for your future self, assuming you don't keep being a lazy idiot. And here's the genius part. Those questions turn into an instant quiz for when you need to review. Instead of flipping through messy notes and wondering where the important stuff is, you just test yourself with the questions you wrote.